Hello everyone, Olga show today at BitCoin conference, May 18th, 2013. As you know, we already met a lot of wonderful people, and here today with us, Olaf, Carlson, we. Originally from Norway, right? Were you born here? Or?
I was born in Minnesota.
Minnesota.
My ancestors are from Norway.
Okay, love Norway, Vikings, strongest one, smart one, from there. And here he is at BitCoin conference. He represents Coinbase. So tell me your position at Coinbase, why at Coinbase, and why Bitcoin?
Okay, so I'm a customer support and fraud prevention at Coinbase. We're a pretty small company right now, only about 6 people. Essentially, Coinbase is an online hosted wallet. So we keep all of your Bitcoin online, with 90% of that being in cold storage offline. So what that means is that even if we were to get hacked, we could never lose more than 10% of the Bitcoin at a time, even if you gain full access to our servers. The main thing that separates us from other wallets is that we have full US bank integration. What that means is that you can go online, create an account, and buy and sell Bitcoin using your bank account much in the same way you make any other online purchase. The fee is only 1% to convert from USD, like fiat currency, into Bitcoin.
So when did you create the company?
Well, I didn't create the company.
Okay.
The founders, Brian and Fred, like they're the co-founders. Basically, the company is about 11 months old.
11 months old. And why you decided to work on Bitcoins yourself?
Oh, so basically I found out about Bitcoins in early 2011, and it just consumed me. Like, I couldn't stop thinking about it. There are so many implications for financial systems, for political systems. I just knew that it would be such a revolutionary technology. It was going to transform the whole payment processing protocol of the internet, and then eventually point of sale services as well. So once I started reading about Bitcoin, I couldn't stop reading about Bitcoin. Eventually, I decided to write my thesis in college on Bitcoin. So I ended up writing my thesis in college on like cryptography and Bitcoin. And from there, it was just, yeah, I wanted to work in Bitcoin. And so I contacted Brian and Fred at Coinbase. And yeah.
Great. And now tell me about your education. What helps you to work on Bitcoin solutions?
So I went to Vassar College in upstate New York, and I studied sociology. So most of the time, you wouldn't think of someone studying sociology being technical, but my take on it was how technology affects society and individuals within society. So basically, I studied cryptography a lot, and so I wanted to study how mechanisms like Bitcoin, things like Tor, the Onion router, it's like an online anonymity network, how those types of things can create social change and usurp existing institutions by making them more efficient. So the Bitcoin protocol is kind of a brilliant system, and it's going to totally usurp payment protocol mechanisms in place right now.
I know that Coinbase is one of the few companies who received venture funding of $5 million.
Yes.
So why and how that's possible?
Yeah. So basically, I started 2 months ago. I'm a relatively new employee. And when I started, we had 60,000 users. Now we have 130,000 users. When I started, the month before, we'd done $1 million in transaction, and that was a really big deal. Now, last month, we did $15 million in transactions. So our growth has been very, very, very fast, and we haven't done a cent of advertising. It's been organic growth, and it's because we're the easiest way to buy Bitcoin. So basically, I wanted to join Coinbase because I just thought it was the best company in the space, and that's what the venture capitalists also thought. So basically, Union Square Ventures felt that we were the best company in the space. We were growing the fastest, so they gave us the $5 million. With that money, we're going to try to amp up hiring as much as possible. We're going to grow the team very large. Eventually, we're going to go international.
Great. Now, in terms of the users, let's have a break. If somebody opens the door, would you please come in and check, because somebody's there? No, they don't know, not always know, because I have 2 more people coming. See, it's somebody probably looking for me already. So anyway, we're going to cut that.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I understand.
Interference. So now come back to BitCoin conference. Are you first time in Silicon Valley?
Yes.
So how did you, what do you think about attendance?
Yeah, so I'm amazed by how many intelligent entrepreneurial spirits I see. It's like everyone I meet is working on their own project or starting their own company, and everyone is really smart about it. I feel like early on with Bitcoin, there was a lot of kind of dreaminess about like what it could be. It was a lot of potential, but there wasn't a lot of actualizable possibilities there. Right now, we're in a stage where everyone is actually acting upon the potential of Bitcoin and building what is going to be the payment processing infrastructure of the world. So it's really exciting to see so many intelligent, like-minded people come together and kind of intellectually talk about this one topic that is so complex and has so many implications.
Great. So if you will wish to our viewers something in terms of education and knowledge about Bitcoins, what you would wish for them?
What would I tell people? What would I want people to know about Bitcoin?
Yes.
I think that the main thing I'd want people to know, if you don't know anything about Bitcoin, is that there's a predetermined inflation rate that can't be changed. So basically, I can know tomorrow and the next day and into infinity every day exactly how many Bitcoin there are going to be. That's like a property of money that's never existed before. So to me, that is like a maintained level of value that we've never seen before. The closest analogy is probably gold for people trying to store value, but in reality, you can go out and mine gold. You can artificially create gold by mining it, basically. So the supply is not fixed. The Bitcoin supply is predetermined, it's fixed. So I think if nothing else, even if it doesn't become like a payment processing protocol, it's like the most perfect store of value ever conceived of.
But then if we have maximum, I think, 21 million Bitcoins, and let's say one country took all of them, then what's going to happen?
Well, one country couldn't get out all of them because, I mean, so the only way for them to get them at this point would be to buy them. And the more that they bought, the more valuable they would get because the more scarce they would be. The demand, you know, would as the demand increases and the supply stays the same, the price just goes up and up and up and up. So basically, if one country tried to buy them all, eventually they would reach a point where they couldn't afford it because each Bitcoin was so valuable. So no matter how few Bitcoin there are in the world, each Bitcoin is divisible down to 8 decimal places. So basically, no matter how few Bitcoin there are, if people are trying to hoard it, like with deep pockets and buying a lot, it's just going to make the rest of the economy function perfectly with a smaller amount of Bitcoin that are all worth more.
Okay, and then inflation. If
Yep.
we will see dollar value inflated, rubles, for instance, inflated down, can we see that with Bitcoins ever?
An inflation above 21 million?
Yes, or let's say right now dollar, Bitcoin increase in value. Would be ever be going down? I mean, I know it will be going, maybe it will cost less dollars and stuff, but you cannot print any more Bitcoin.
Yep. So the cool thing about Bitcoin is that there is no third party that is trying to determine value or control the value. So basically, anytime someone buys or sells Bitcoin, they are part of what determines the value of Bitcoin. I mean, Bitcoin has no inherent use value other than a mathematical scarcity. You can't use it for anything, much in the same way you can't use fiat currency for anything, a dollar bill, say. But Bitcoin is like even more abstracted from real goods and is just purely symbolic exchange value. So I think that's a really powerful concept, basically.
And also I was joking about it, but then we came to it that you can have your own currency as long as it's actually popular among the people. So I can create my Olga show coin, and you can create Coinbase and some sort of currency. But then it has to be popular, and you have to have algorithms behind, you have to have all the security companies behind it. So it involves a lot of millions of dollars in creative minds, if not billions of dollars.
Well, the issue with that, though, would be a centralized currency. So if I was printing my own currency, the Olaf bill or something, there would be like a central person that you could go after to stop the currency, or I would also have the control to devalue it by creating more currency. And that's the thing about Bitcoin is because it's totally decentralized, no one has that control and no one has the power to stop it.
And it's also diverse, means it can be in any countries as long as it's accepted at least by one user.
Yep, it's just completely international. Their borders mean nothing to Bitcoin.
And then also meaning that it's controlled by humans itself.
Yes.
So you would know exactly how many, well, you probably would not know how many I have, but if I try to defraud it or some sort, you probably would know by number somehow.
Yeah, well, the way Bitcoin works is there's a blockchain, so every Bitcoin verifies every other Bitcoin, basically. So if you try to create one artificially or to duplicate one artificially, that will not be verified by the blockchain. And because of that, that Bitcoin will not be recognized by the network as legitimate, and because of that, the payment won't go through. So you can try to artificially duplicate or create artificial Bitcoin, but it'll never work. It won't be conferred by the network as far as transactions.
And then somebody was talking about, well, it could be another bubble
Oh,
of
yeah.
Bitcoins.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, if we have a certain amount of Bitcoins, how it can be a bubble?
Mm-hmm.
Unless you increase the value unnecessary somehow,
Mhm.
because it's, I don't know, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think definitely, like, Bitcoin has definitely seen a couple speculative bubbles at this point. The main thing, though, to keep in mind is that the price point really doesn't matter. All that matters is the utility of how you can use it. I know that a lot of people are maybe in it to just invest when it's cheap, sell when it's worth more, and that's their only interest in Bitcoin. But those aren't the type of people that are going to make the Bitcoin economy grow. Those aren't the type of people that are going to make a Bitcoin be massively adopted by all people. I mean, really what matters is that use value goes up, that there are more transactions. The price point naturally is always going to be rising in my book, because Bitcoin is just, there's a limited amount of them and the adoption is going up. Supply is not going up as fast as demand, therefore the price is going to go up. I don't think you need to speculate. There's no need to. It's just use Bitcoin like you'd use dollars, and they will increase in value without speculators or with speculators, but the speculators are what cause like these massive bubbles. So I see more bubbles in the future. I don't think that's going to go away from Bitcoin, but I see it as like a healthy, it's a signal of a healthy market, and a market where lots of people want it to be involved.
So basically, I think perhaps people creating bubbles, it could be in real estate, it could be in stock market, it could be God knows what, only because people putting too much attention in one side without paying attention to many other possibilities around them.
Yep. So I mean, yeah, I think it's people that aren't valuing Bitcoin for anything but a profit-making mechanism, when in fact they're creating no value. All they're doing is just taking some of the Bitcoin, essentially increasing the demand, and then dumping when it's higher. And in the long term, no one wins in that. There's an equal number of winners and losers in that. It's when the economy grows as a whole and like has a solid base of transactions. That's when like the economy will grow, and it's like meaningful growth.
Okay, I like the name of the company, Base, Coinbase.
Mm-hmm.
Is it because of the platform you created, or
Yeah.
because what is it?
Yeah, so the reason that Coinbase is like a good name to reflect what we do is that we try to cover all the bases. So we're a good way to buy and sell Bitcoin with a bank account. We're a good way to store Bitcoin safely online. And we offer merchant tools to accept Bitcoin through like easy payment pages, payment buttons. So basically, because like we service all three of these sides of things, we want users to be able to buy Bitcoin through us, store Bitcoin with us, and spend money at merchants that accept us. So because of that, we think of ourselves as a base. It's like your good hosted wallet that is highly secure and is going to be an easy way to buy and sell Bitcoin, easy way to spend Bitcoin and receive Bitcoin.
Great. So one more time, I guess we wish success to all our viewers to buy Bitcoins, or at least know about Bitcoins, and that's what our purpose, to introduce Bitcoins and Coinbase, who can actually help you with the services when you would need that. And and it's secure.
Yeah.
So what about you? What are you gonna wish them before we say goodbye?
Well, I would hope that everyone could realize the potential of Bitcoin and realize how it could help them in their daily lives to save money, really, in the long term. So it's going to be a good thing for all people, if Bitcoin gets adopted. It takes away a lot of the inefficiencies in payment processing.
24/7 globally, availability. This would be much easier. Something new in our future. Thank you, and that was Olga show, and all of Carlson from Coinbase with us today. Goodbye.